Hello everyone. For my sociology project, I'm going to be talking about all of the children with autism in the school system and how there are high levels of mistreatment towards these kids and how unaware we are of how we could help them and improve both their education and then the kids around them. So autism is defined as a developmental disorder that is characterized by difficulty in social situations or interaction and communication, and this can have restricted or repetitive patterns of thought and behavior in these children. Now, autism is not only present in children, it can be present through adults. You can see it in any person at any age, but we do focus right now on children and how this is affecting their life and other social situations. So not only is autism this developmental disorder, but this also includes many different sensory issues where some kids cannot handle loud noises such as a school bell ringing or being in assemblies or at games such as like sports games and other like music events. But it can also be just sitting there looking at a screen for too long or sitting still for too long in a classroom. And that is one of the major things where these students sometimes need to get up, brush off some steam, and go walk around or have some sort of movement while they're learning. And that is where people such as occupational therapists and counselors can come into play in the schools, and they help these kids in different ways and getting them to actually learn while still letting them move around a bit and kind of forming to what would help these students in particular. These kids are more subject to bullying from not only students their age, but students older, younger, and even some teachers don't see the issues in this and how it fully affects the child and their learning. Even though they may seem as though they are not trying as hard as some students or as though they are spacing out and not paying attention in class, they are trying their best. They just have some sort of learning disability in where they don't learn the same way or as easily as other students do, and they need that little extra attention or that special help in order to get them to learn just as much as these other students are learning. Johns Hopkins University actually conducted an experiment in where they surveyed 1,200 parents of children with autism, and 63% of these parents said that their children have experienced some sort of bullying due to their autism disorders and the varying severity of their autism. It could be very small and you don't notice it, or it could be a very high disability, which they have, and they cannot socialize very well with other students or be around many different environments, and this caused for a lot of bullying. And these same parents stated that their other children without autism did not experience this same type of bullying. Now, this leads into a lot of the mistreatment which we see for these autistic children, and just how this makes their learning environment and their social environment much harder for them. And it is a very discouraging environment to be in when you are trying to learn for these students. Now, I would like to talk about some of the ways we could help these kids and how, as a society today, we can be more aware of this disorder. One way I would solve this problem would be the use of occupational therapists more in the school systems. Now, an occupational therapist can go in a wide variety of fields, and they can go all the way from rehab patients to the school system and helping these special needs kids. And one of the ways they do this is they have their own special classroom set up for these kids. And I had the opportunity to shadow an occupational therapist earlier on in high school, and got to see just how she takes students from class sometimes when they have a harder time, and she uses different tools in order to get them to learn better. There was a young boy that came in with her, and he was in 3rd grade and could not write his name because when he was forming the letters in his brain, he could not get his body to write them himself. And part of this was also, there was that social anxiety because of a new person being in the room. And as you can see, the slightest things can throw these kids off in how they learn and how they can function throughout the day. And one way that we can help that is to just be more aware of this and be a little bit more sensitive to certain cases in which we don't necessarily treat them as if there's something wrong with these children, but we understand that they need the slightly different treatment in order to help them learn and stay on track with all these other students. As a society altogether, we can help to fix the situation and to better these people by understanding more about this disease and taking the time out of our days just to treat these people as though they are normal people, not to look at them as different, and just to be more understanding and more aware of these situations and be more willing to help these people when we see something wrong with them and how other people are treating them rather than sitting and watching and allowing all of this to happen. With all of that being said, that is how I would hope to try and improve the situation for kids with autism or anyone on the spectrum in any way, and how I would like to give them the better chance and a more comfortable and welcome feel in our society and our school system without feeling all of this mistreatment and bullying and all of these disadvantages that they feel today.